You're going to be like this because you're on the sofa. I don't have anything hard underneath you. Hi. I decided that I would start a little reading vlog for this because, hold on. Sorry, I was reheating some coffee. I know that's gross, but I didn't want to waste the coffee that I made at the beginning of my night. It's now the morning, but I have the day off, so who knows how late I'll stay up. I wanted to do a reading vlog for the Ministry of Time because I have seen so many different reviews of this book from people I don't know online, just generally reviewing the book, to my friends who I know are critics. Like, they are harsh. We are judgy people of books, especially my friends. I think they are much meaner than I am about books. But anyway, they did not like this at all. And I have been watching them be upset by it, and it has made me more and more scared to start this. So I thought this would be a good candidate for a little reading vlog to see how I feel about The Ministry of Time by Kaliane Bradley. I was very excited to read this. So I got this from the publisher, Avid Reader Press. I think I commented on their Instagram and I was like, that sounds really good, to something they were posting. And they were like, do you want an ARC? And I said, yes, I would. And so they sent me an ARC. And I do think this sounds really good. I'm going to have a sip of coffee. It's already an international sensation with rights sold in 17 languages and a TV adaptation in the pipeline after a 21-way auction. The Ministry of Time is an ingeniously imagined, hilarious romp through time, space, and the human heart by an exhilarating new voice in fiction. I'm scared now. I'm scared after seeing very conflicting reviews. And I trust my friends. So the question is, where am I going to land? It says, boy meets girl, past meets the future, a finger meets a trigger, the beginning meets the end. England is forever, England must fall. I think I like this because there was like time traveling babysitting or something. I am scared. We're going to read this and then this little blurb here, and then you and I'm going to start. I'm going to start and I'm going to come in and I'm going to keep you all posted on how I feel about this. I'm going to try and make a short vlog because I don't want to do anything long. I mean, I know my hour-long rant did great. I don't want this to be an hour, so I should focus. Anyway, okay. I need readers. Don't get old, folks. In the near future, a civil servant is offered the salary of her dreams and is shortly afterward told what project she'll be working on. A recently established government ministry is gathering expats from across history to establish whether time travel is feasible for the human body, but also for the fabric of space-time. She is tasked with working as a bridge, living with, assisting, and monitoring the expat known as 1847, or Commander Graham Gore. As far as history is concerned, Commander Gore died on Sir John Franklin's doomed 1845 expedition to the Arctic, so he is a little disoriented to be living with an unmarried woman who regularly shows her calves, surrounded by outlandish concepts such as washing machines, Spotify, and the collapse of the British Empire. But he quickly adjusts, and he is, after all, an explorer by trade. Soon, what the bridge thought would be, at best, a seriously uncomfortable housemate dynamic evolves into something much more. And over the course of an unprecedented year, the bridge falls haphazardly, fervently in love with consequences she never could have imagined, supported by a chaotic and charming cast of characters, including a 17th century spinster turned cinephile who can't get enough of Tinder, a painfully shy World War I captain, a former spy with an ever-changing series of cosmetic surgery alterations, and a belligerent attitude towards HR. The bridge will be forced to confront the past that shaped her choices and how what she does will shape the future. So this is giving me, I remember about this is giving me time travel vibes. And like, there was a rom-com in the early 2000s with Hugh Jackman, I think, and he travels from like Regency, England, and he's living with, I don't know who, like Meg Ryan or something, modern day. I'm going to find a clip and put this in there if anybody else remembers this movie.
May I have the next course?
There is no next course.
Where I come from, the meal is the result of reflection and study. Menus are prepared in advance, timed to perfection. It It is said without the culinary arts, the crudeness of reality would be unbearable.
We had a saying in the McKay house, you shake and shake the ketchup bottle, none will come, and then a lot'll.
But this is kind of giving me those vibes. And like, I think I got the babysitting because like she's watching somebody. I read a blurb. I swear babysitting was in a blurb somewhere. Anyway, that's enough. That's enough wasting of your time, my time. I'm going to start this. We're going to see how I feel about it.
I'm so fucking scared right now. You shut up.
I don't know. I feel like I've seen some really good reviews and I don't know if they're bullshit. I trust my friends. I don't know if these reviews are bullshit and I'm going to feel really bad because I told Avid Reader Press how much I really wanted to read this. And if I hate this, I'm going to feel so bad. What can you do? Sometimes you hate books. You know? Before my battery dies, I just want to say, so like right at the start of this, they're introducing our Bridge, our main character, to this new job role. And it sounds like there's a secret ministry that does time travel. Okay, cool. Like I'm here for that. That's fine. They're pulling people, and there's a lot like from different times. They agreed that it would be necessary to extract people from historical war zones, natural disasters, and epidemics. These expatriates to the 21st century would have died in their own timelines anyway, removing them from the past not to impact the future. So that's how we're getting around the butterfly effect, allegedly. Time travel books are always very interesting, how they try to make it work, because none of us actually truly understands how time travel could really work. But there is enough, was it quantum physics and string theory and all of that in this world to give you some good plausible options. But anyway, so I guess that works as a way to set up time travel. I'm hoping this is going to be a very interesting discussion on refugees in general and not just in the beginning here, because our bridge lady, our main character, she is the child of Cambodian refugees. That seems to come up in the interview. She's talking here about what it's like to live as a family member of refugees, of being a refugee, and kind of the lack of heart and understanding there is around that. When dealing with refugees, especially en masse, it's better not to think of them as people. It messes with the paperwork. Nevertheless, when the expats were considered from a human rights perspective, they fit the home office criteria for asylum seekers. I think it's just interesting that you're getting these commentary that you could apply to actual real life here, with the number of refugees that are in migrants and people that are asylum seeking right now from all the various things that are going on in this world. But anyway, I'm going to go back to reading. I just wanted to point that out. That's how we're setting up time travel. We are taking people who would otherwise have died, and it looks like there's going to be an undercurrent of talking about being a refugee, being somebody pulled from your own life and into a new one and having to adjust. And I guess the trials, tribulations, and prejudices that come along with that. I hope, maybe, I don't know. This could be, we'll find out at the end of this vlog, I guess. Hello, welcome back. Had to stop reading to go to, hey Mercy, hey Moo, to go pick up our groceries for the week. But I am 71 pages into this, and I do have some thoughts. Okay, so a little bit of this is a bit on the nose. Let's back this up. I'm mildly annoyed that I know how much my friends don't like this book, because I feel like I am coming to this with a more critical eye than I normally would. Like I am looking for things that would make them not like it instead of just letting this book exist. And I think that that's going to do this a disservice, but hopefully not. I don't know. It's still early days. I don't dislike it. I don't know if it's worth the level of praise that's on here. It's got blurbs from Eleanor Canton, the Burnham Woods lady whose name I can't say. I really need my readers. I can't see. Joanna Quinn, who did the Whalebone Theater, Max Porter, Mark Haddon, Alice Wynne. Like there's a lot of people blurbing this book. Like there's so much praise for it. And I'm not sure if it's worth this level of praise at page 71. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I also wonder if this is going to go kind of like in an Argyle bent, where this book was basically written to justify having a movie done about it. Because, I mean, this wasn't out and it was already optioned. That doesn't mean that the movie's going to be made, but I mean, I would hope that means it's going to be made, only because how embarrassing to have that on the back of all of your arcs and having that be like your marketing and then they never make the movie, right? I do think that this might play better as a movie than as a book, but I still don't know if that means it's going to be like amazing as a movie, but I do think it might play better that way. But in terms of like writing, I don't know why our female main character doesn't have a name. I haven't figured that out yet, or it hasn't come up yet. I can't imagine that I've missed it. Who she's minding is this gentleman that was on this expedition to the Arctic, and he gets ripped from his time period and is living now. So he's from 1847. He's charming. This man is charming. He's funny. Kind of like him. What's his name? Captain Gore, I think is his name. Anyway, I like him. I don't know about our female main character who is nameless, because she's really terrible at her job. Like, she's not supposed to be letting him wander off alone, but she does. She's clearly not following a lot of the rules. Like, she's supposed to be going to therapy to like make sure she's okay with stuff, and it's taken her almost 70 pages to decide that maybe she does need to go to therapy, because she's mixing a little bit of business and pleasure, if that makes any sense. Not that they're doing anything romantical at this moment, but like, you know, things are getting a little convoluted between the two of them, since they basically only have each other to talk to. It is interesting plucking someone from another time period, bringing them into today, and talking about language. I think that that's a very interesting thing to be looking at in this. I think the discussion about changing times and kind of this idea of how things keep changing, but they always stay the same. They having this exchange about how he was part of some expedition where he like blew up a port full of Arab people, and that was considered some sort of like colonial success. And she does some sort of like diplomatic maneuvering, which could be argued is sort of similar in terms of trying to gain power in a on foreign soil in some way. I don't know. So there are some interesting discussions in here. I just feel like it might be a little bit too on the nose. And I also don't think that their dialogue is very interesting. It's very flat. His chapters where he's on his expedition, because these other chapters in the current timeline are kind of flat, like I said, his chapters seem more interesting to me, but I just find the dialogue between them not very interesting. And then there is this like thing. There's this scene where she smokes a joint, and this really irritates me because it's like, do you understand how weed works? So she's smoking a joint. He comes home, is like, why does your tobacco smell funny? And she's like, don't tell anybody.
Marijuana, the burning weed with its roots in hell.
He basically like takes a hit. They look at the garden, and then he's like instantly high. I don't understand how he's instantly high. What kind? I mean, maybe, I don't know, but it seems a little rushed to me. It seems like maybe one hit shouldn't make him incapable of understanding anything, unless this is super weed. I don't know. I don't know what the kids are smoking these days. So that's where I am. I guess it's like, I don't hate it. It's fine. I don't hate the things that it's talking about racism, colonialism, changing times, refugees, power dynamics, power, structures in terms of like governmental stuff. But I don't know if it's doing anything new or in any like, I don't know. I think my problem is like, this is oversold to me by like marketing and a lot of things I see on like bookish socials. And then it's undersold to me by all of my friends. So I'm very confused at this juncture on where I stand. Technically, this is only chapter 3, which is alarming. I'm going to try to read a little bit more before I absolutely pass out. These chapters are long, man. I don't like a really long chapter unless it's like really well written, like a Donna Tartt. Anyway, I'm going to read a little bit more of this before I pass out. I should be in bed, but I had to have a coffee so that I could go get the groceries. So now I'm awake. So I need to let that come down. I've oiled my hair. I'm ready to like let that marinate while I sleep. And then I'm going to take the best shower ever when I wake up, We've got groceries. I've got a dense bean salad to make later, but this. I want to try to get through this. I think I might be able to get through it today so that it's just off my plate. And I can get an answer to everybody who wants to know my thoughts on the Ministry of Time. I guess if you've read this, tell me your thoughts below. I would love to know everybody's thoughts on this because it feels like something that a lot of people are reading, and I need to know. I need to know what everybody's thinking. Are we a community divided? Hello, update time. I have slept, and I did read more of this morning. If you see my dirty dishes behind me, don't judge me. I have to unload the dishwasher. I just made my dense bean salad, which I'll link down below if you want to make it. It's not my dense bean salad. I just made a dense bean salad. Anyway, I've showered. I am a human being again. So I am 180 some odd pages through this. And okay, so we've got like a little twist going on. We don't trust the government. We knew this. If you don't know this, don't trust the government. Our main character is still really bad at her job. Like, she's supposed to be like, I know that she's just like a translator, but she has like, what is it called? Like the Secrets Act. She's got like clearance. So she's got high level clearance now to do this thing with the Ministry of Time. Like, she should be like just a better operative, I guess. And she's not. Like, she can't see anything like that's happening around her. And like, people are basically like, shit's going on. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. But this guy from the past, I kind of wish he would touch me. Like, I don't know. I don't know. She's insufferable. I kind of don't like her. I do like this attempt at bringing in this discussion about being an immigrant and the immigrant experience and the trials and tribulations and prejudices that occur. But I don't know. I still like his chapters. I don't hate this. That's what I'm gonna say. Like, I don't hate this. I'm not reading this and I'm like, oh my God, I hate this book. But like, I just don't think it's doing anything new or special. Like, a lot of the scenes between her and Gore really are giving Kate and Leopold. That's the movie name that I was trying to think of at the beginning of this. They're really seriously giving Kate and Leopold. Like you pulled it from 2000s rom-com. I guess that's fine, but like, it feels very familiar. I think maybe that's what it is. Like, this doesn't feel like it's doing anything new because it feels too familiar as a concept, this entire book. I'm assuming that all of this time travel stuff and plucking things out, it's all part of like some bigger government plan to like create some weapon, to invade something, to gain some political diplomatic advantage. It is not like anything purely scientific. Everything that these people are doing, these whatever. These handlers are doing, all the documentation, all the monitoring, all the like information that they're gathering on these people from the past is not being used to like understand how time travel affects people in the way that they think it's being used. It's being used for something a little bit more sinister, a little bit more underhanded, a little bit more like the government isn't telling you something, which I guess is fun. Like, this brigadier guy who seems very mysterious and weird and out of time, I'm assuming is out of time. And I wonder if this is gonna be one of those things like, oh, we're in the current timeline talking about the past and we went to the past and blah, 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 blah. But really there's a future where they come back to this current timeline and then we learn a lesson. I don't know. I feel like there's like, time travel is such like a hard thing to do in a book and do it well and not have it feel cheesy or like rehashed from something else or like, I don't know, I don't know. I want to say something mean like pedestrian, but like, I mean, I guess it's fun. I can understand why Dee Dee Reads has called this like a beach read. I think this is a good like mindless pool book, but like, I also don't feel like this is adding anything to my life reading it. Not that like every book you read has to change your world, but like, I don't know if it's deserving of all this praise. But something I realized last night is that having all this praise on this back from all these other authors, having it be in this big bidding war, having it be optioned for 17 different languages, having it already being billed as the next big success doesn't mean that this is actually written well. It doesn't mean that this is a good book. And it never means that a book is a good book when the publishing industry treats it like a darling, right? It just means that publishing has said, oh, I think we are going to get a good return on our investment with this. Let's back this. Let's put money into this. Let's go because this is going to be the thing that's going to like make us revenue, right? It doesn't have anything to do with the quality of the actual book. It has to do with the ability for them to sell this to consumers. And I have to continuously remind myself of this when I read all these blurbs and see all this nonsense as marketing. Like, this stuff doesn't mean a book is good. This stuff means it's sellable. It's marketable. It is something that the masses are going to buy. And the masses aren't necessarily all of us on bookish social medias. The people that are like consuming BookTube, Bookstagram, BookTok, well, maybe BookTok, it's got a little bit more of a reach, but like the bookish socials in general, the people subscribed to my Substack newsletter, they're not the majority of readers, okay? The majority of readers are people that probably have never really looked at Bookstagram, that don't even know what BookTube is, right? So like they're not the people the publishing industry is necessarily catering to. The publishing industry is catering to like your 40-year-old aunt who barely has a social media presence, right? They want just like the average Joe to go out there and buy this book and make them revenue. So I think I have to keep reminding myself when I feel like this is overhyped. It's not overhyped because of the quality of the writing. It's overhyped because of the potential for a good ROI. So anyway, with that being said, it's not horrible. It's basically like an early 2000s rom-com with time travel and a little bit of political discussion, like a little bit, like they spiced it up and made it a little controversial. Anyway, I made a protein pancake. I'm gonna eat that. I'm gonna settle in and read this, and I might just save my next check-in until I'm done, unless something ridiculous happens, then I have to talk to you. That's it. That's all. I'm gonna eat my pancake. Pancake. We are done. We are done with the Ministry of Time. And it's a book. It's fine. I don't know why people hate it so much. It does feel a little cliche and contrived. Our main character, I kind of get why she doesn't have a name, but like, also I think it's stupid. The romance is kind of nice, I guess. It's fine. They pull in like elements of climate change, and that's part of this whole time traveling like thing. And I get it. I kind of wish, I don't know. I can't tell if this isn't focused enough. Maybe that's the problem. I she's kind of dealing with like just a fun story about time travel and romance and like a little bit of like government stuff, right? Don't trust your government. The government doesn't care about you. The government cares about the country, not individuals, all that kind of stuff. You know, big government bad. Don't become a fascist. Sort of like it's easy to become a fascist if you just plod along and follow like what the government wants you to do. Like if you're like a good little worker bee, good little civil servant, like you can wake up one day and realize that you are the fascist. I don't know if that's kind of the point, but so there's this like Similia, what is her name? There's another handler. Her name's like Similia or something like that. Similia, yeah. And she's a Black lady and she's a psychologist, and she is very much like calling out our main character on being a bit of like an Uncle Tom, I guess. And I just like our main character passes a lot for white, and she uses that to her advantage because she's her mother's Cambodian, her father is white, and so she uses that to her advantage. Okay, but it's a thing that she does. And Similia doesn't really like it, but also like these aren't like very fully explored. The idea of being like an immigrant or a stranger in a strange land isn't fully explored. Mostly this is just a time traveling romantic comedy with like a little bit of like political edge to it. It's fine. It's a book. I mean, I guess if I'm going to go with Dee Dee Reads and say, if you want a beach read that is time traveling and has a bit of a romance in it, you can read this. I'm also going to suggest that if you don't want to read this, just watch Kate and Leopold. It has less political stuff, but you know, fun. Similar kinds of romantical things. Find a documentary about Franklin's doomed expedition, lost expedition, whatever it's called, that expedition to the Arctic to try to find the Northern Passage. I don't know. Go look that up. Go watch Kate and Leopold if you really want to read this. I don't think that this is something worth raving about, nor do I think it's something worth being really upset about. Like, it's just a book, guys. Really anticlimactic reading vlog, but it's just a book. I mean, there's things that like are kind of annoying. I think some of the reveals at the end are so like eye-rollingly cliche that I still don't understand something. And if I cared more, I'd go back and reread it. But there's something about Arthur, this one character, Arthur, that when they do big reveals and you're talking about the future, I'm like at a loss about what this person tells our main character about Arthur. Maybe there's just two Arthurs is the problem. I'm confused. It's fine. It's a book. I'll have to talk to my friends and figure out why they disliked it so much, or if they just found it tedious and fairly mid. But like, I think it's mid. I think you would spend less time just watching Kate and Leopold and then also watching a documentary about Franklin's lost expedition. That's enough. You don't need the climate changey, time travel, immigrant, migrant, cli-fi, I hate that word, miss of it all. That's what I got. I read it. I am a little disappointed that I was so excited to read this and it was like this. Sorry, Mercy's very upset because there's a storm going through right now. So I'm going to wrap this up because I need to calm her down, put her in her thunder shirt, maybe give her some trazodone. You can hear that thunder. I got to go take care of her. So anyway, that's the Ministry of Time. And her name is Kaliane Bradley. I definitely said that wrong in the beginning. You can hear Mercy crying. I'm going to go. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video, whatever it may be, because it's my channel and I can do whatever I want. Bye.
So just sit with me, talking to the night until the morning, building chemistry. I don't think I ever want to go come closer next to me, trying to find another way to say this.